for our Tuesday afternoon. Only in the low to mid 70s, getting drier overnight. Our sunshine will be back Wednesday. We should get back up to around 80 tomorrow, and looking at cool fall weather in the mid 70s to finish out the week. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Cakes and cookies, toys and gifts.
The Southern Christmas Show, November 13th through 23rd at the Park Expo and Conference Center. Save on tickets at southernchristmasshow.com, courtesy of Kraft Body Scan.
The Southern Christmas Show.
Discover your next great experience at Kane Center for the Arts, where art and community come alive. From stunning gallery exhibits to captivating live performances, we're here to inspire, connect, and celebrate the arts. Visit kanearts.org.
The following is a paid program and does not necessarily reflect the views of WSIC.
Good morning and welcome to Heart Mooresville, your small town radio show with a big heart. I'm your host, Christine Patterson, bringing you all the Mooresville news and happenings. And please welcome our two guest co-hosts this morning from the Experience and Engagement team, Alyssa Anderson and Sean Owens.
Good morning.
We got the crew here this morning. We are ready. We're going to talk about lots of things coming up. We're going to talk with some of our North Carolina Music Hall of Fame crew that are going to be partnering with us for the event on October 16th at the Mooresville Performing Arts Center. We are going to talk all about that. But before we do, we like to keep our listeners informed within the news. So a couple of stories I want to highlight. Iredell County Library will be offering a mobile unit. So I think we do this at our local library too, but now the county is offering it. We've got to get the library folks back on actually too.
They were awesome.
Yeah, and they have so much stuff going on, but the county level as well is doing it. So it could be coming to a location near you. They have outfitted this new 2024 Ford Transit van to be a mobile branch of the library that offers a wide range of services. You can create a library card. You can check out items like books, access Wi-Fi, get tech assistance, hold items to be picked up at various locations. So you can actually schedule this. So pretty cool. Like they offer a lot of services just through this mobile unit. Dates and locations for future mobile library events can be found online, so you can see where it's going to be. But the county said that the mobile library has a very wide collection of books, materials, specifically for adults wanting to improve literary skills, technology, of course, the Wi-Fi we mentioned. It's going to visit schools, community centers, and other locations on a rotating schedule. So check it out. You can see where it's going to be next.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great service to offer, and especially for those that aren't able to get out on their own to the library.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool to think that the library's coming to you now.
I know. I love that. Yeah. That it's definitely, it gets around the county, and not everyone has a library in their backyard. I mean, here in Mooresville, we have two locations, one in our downtown area, one over in the 28117. But I know the county library, doesn't have one in every neighborhood. So now you can get the mobile unit. You can visit it. A couple new hires that I want to point out that are with some really important organizations in the area. So we've hired a new CEO for Feed and See. So Feed and See, if you're not familiar in Mooresville, is our food bank for our community. They serve a ton of people in our community. It a very, very important organization. So Angela Klein is our new Chief Executive Officer. We announced that on Monday. The organization said that it marks an exciting new chapter in its commitment to serving our neighbors. So she brings more than 20 years of leadership experience in food and nutrition security from her career at the U.S. Department of Agriculture. She's overseen multi-million-dollar programs that strengthen food access for millions of families. She's directed school meal reforms and led emergency response that ensured children and families received meals during the COVID-19 pandemic. And she's returning to the Piedmont area after her time in Washington, D.C. She's a graduate of the University of Virginia and University of Pittsburgh Law School. So we welcome her to Mooresville. And then another position that I want to point out is Brittany Snyder, who is going to be the new Director of Veteran Services at the county. She's going to oversee benefits, coordination, advocacy, and outreach programs that are designed to support our county's more than 15,000 veterans and military families. This is a really important position. And so we welcome Brittany. She's had firsthand experience to her role for her new role, having worked in various administrative roles in the U.S. Navy. She was discharged in 2023, and she joined the county in 2024, where she served an administrative role and most recently as grants coordinator, and now our new Veteran Services Director. So welcome, Brittany. And speaking of Veterans Day, so it's coming up on November 11th. We're in Mooresville. We really celebrate like all week long.
We do.
Yeah.
Mooresville is a community that truly supports its veterans. We have some great organizations like Richard's Coffee Shop, or Welcome Home Veterans, that's located on Main Street. If you've never visited that center, you need to stop in and see it.
It's truly amazing. I mean, just the amount of memorabilia they have on the walls is enough to, look at the amazing history of our military, but just getting to sit down and have a conversation with somebody.
Right.
It's amazing. And, it's
going
the same folks that sit in the same chairs, it seems like, but the stories keep coming.
Yeah.
So.
I think they have some plaques on some chairs, which is cute, because it's like, no, this is my chair. I think they have their, weekly coffee meetups, and just to like listen in, even maybe not even be part of the conversation, but just the camaraderie in that building is
I love that it's a living museum.
Yeah.
Right. And that truly feels like that. And you can go around, like Sean said, and, look at the memorabilia on the wall, but, it's also part of the community that's there, that's honoring and preserving that heritage.
Yeah.
So we celebrate all week long, as I mentioned. So we kick off the week at the beginning of the week on Monday with a POW walk, and then just keep that celebration going. So we'll have a full list of events that you'll be able to access on mooresvilleevents.com. You can also go to our town page, and then our Facebook and Instagram accounts will also have that schedule of events all week. We're going to have lunches. We're going to have banquets. We will have lots of ways, blood drives, things for everyone to get involved and help our veterans. And then, of course, a parade. Our Veterans Day parade is a signature piece of our Veterans Day week celebration. So we invite everyone to come out to the parade, which is actually on Veterans Day at 1:00. And so we hope that you join us in celebrating our veterans. Another reminder for everyone is we talked about Florence Wine and Beer Garden that is opening at Merino Mill. So I had the opportunity to eat there. The food is amazing. They're perfecting the menu for their full grand opening and ribbon cutting, which is going to be on October 7th at 11 a.m. If you have not tried any of Michael Bay at Merino Mills restaurants, which include Picasso, Alino's, Barcelona Burger, and now Florence Wine and Beer Garden, you have to stop in. Michael puts love and care into the food that they make, and that really comes through. He's an amazing business person. He's renovated the mill and part of our downtown development initiatives that are going on, and he's really just put life back into that building, but also, bringing these new options for the community to enjoy the restaurant. So the newest one is Florence. So we hope you'll all join us October 7th at 11 a.m. So you do get to sample some great food. It's going to be 500 South Main Street in that Merino Bill complex. It's actually the brick building behind the main building. It was, run down and abandoned, and now it looks brand new.
It looks beautiful.
It is. It's gorgeous.
I drove past the other day just to kind of like take a sneak peek, and I was like, this is like, I don't know, it like moved me a little bit. It was like the little lake that they have back there.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
The water feature.
And the Wagyu beef is served with a spoon, not even a knife.
That's
it's so tender and just perfect. So
I know what I'll be
pretty
getting.
cool. Yeah.
Very
looking
cool.
forward to their grand opening.
All right. Well, we're going to be back after the break talking with Veronica of the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame. All right. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Heart Mooresville, celebrating the events, arts, and people that make our town shine. Back after this, only on WSIC. Local starts here.
Well, some extra clouds hanging around, but Imelda continues to work further and further away from our coast.
to date and find out about local events, job opportunities, real estate information, and more. Visit liveworkplaylkn.com and sign up for the weekly newsletter. That's liveworkplaylkn.com.
You're listening to Heart Mooresville, connecting the people, the places, and the events that make our town special. Only on WSIC. Local starts here.
And we're back with Heart Mooresville, where we share the stories that matter most in our community. All right, today we're talking about an event that we are so excited about, the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame 2025 induction ceremony. The event will be hosted right here in Mooresville, North Carolina, at the Performing Arts Center on October 16th. This year's class of inductees truly shows the exceptional and diverse talent that we have here in our great state. And joining us today on the show is Executive Director of the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame and Museum, Miss Veronica Cordle. Good morning.
Good morning, Christine and everybody. So glad to be on with you.
Well, we are so excited to work with you. What is this, our third year in a row?
Yes, third year. Can you believe it?
I know. I have to say, this is probably, I think, all of our favorite events.
Yeah,
I think
I love this one.
Like the favorite thing that we do all year. So thank you for bringing that experience here. So
well, it's definitely something special for North Carolina.
Absolutely. I guess let's set the tone a little bit. Tell our listeners, what is the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame and what does it do?
Well, we're a nonprofit organization. And we're located, actually, our museum and offices are located in Kannapolis. We have a beautiful museum here where we showcase North Carolina's musical heritage. And basically, what we do is honor anybody in the music industry that has received national recognition, and of course, with roots in North Carolina. And so, just like you'd see with the Grammys or the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or the Country Music Hall of Fame, we do inductions here every year. And so this is a statewide event where annually we bring in a new class of inductees to honor each year. And that always happens the third Thursday in October. And so we're getting very close.
Yes, we are. October 16th is just a couple weeks away. And now before we get into the inductees, because I think that is one thing that you all just really over the top this year and every year, really. I mean, you all are able to get such a great class of inductees that is just diverse across different genres that really showcase the musical talent that comes out of our state. I think we're all super excited about this year as well. And because of several people, I think, that are coming. But before we get into all that, I want to talk a little bit about the museum. So you do have a brick and mortar museum in Kannapolis. It's a huge field trip destination. It gets a lot of visitors. Talk a little bit about the museum.
So this is actually a 20,000 square foot building, and this museum was made possible to us through the Mike Curb Family Foundation. And Mike Curb is a music industry music mogul and label owner, as well as a NASCAR team owner. And so this originally started out as his motorsports museum. And he saw the dilemma that we actually had in our original location downtown, which it was too small. And so he said, we have a good idea. Let's put the two together and make it a music and motorsports destination. And so when people come to our museum here, they get a taste of our local history as far as music and motorsports. So half of the building is the Mike Curb Motorsports Museum, and the other half is the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame. And on our side of the museum, we have about 60 exhibits. So that's not all of our inductees, but there's about 60 exhibits that visitors can walk through the museum and learn a little bit about each one of those.
Nice. And then, in addition to the museum, you all host an induction ceremony each year in October, like you said, that third Thursday of October. What does that process look like, and how are inductees chosen each year?
It's a very difficult task. There's North Carolina's history is so rich. It's just unbelievable. And I think that's one reason that Mike Curb felt it was very important to preserve specifically North Carolina's history. This is the epicenter of music on the entire planet. And I know when you talk to Dolph next, he's really going to hone in on this and tell you about how important North Carolina music is. But we have international music stars that are from this state. It's so important. And it's important to honor them.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Now, what we've all been waiting for, who are the inductees this year?
All right. Drum roll.
Drum roll.
Okay. The 2025 inductees are Luke Combs, country music superstar.
Wow.
Chatty Hattie, one of the first African-American DJs in the South. Robert Deaton, film and television producer. Clyde Maddox, country rock steel guitar player. Dex Romweber, he's a rockabilly rock star. And then David Childers, Americana singer-songwriter.
Wow, who we're going to talk to today, Mr. Childers, in a little bit. Now, what an amazing, first of all, class of inductees. I mean, great job really getting people from, all across the board there, with talent. But, I just want to point out a couple, accomplishments of these inductees. I mean, obviously, starting with Luke Combs, who is in his prime right now. So excited for him to get to, come home. I mean, he was born in Huntersville, raised in Asheville, and now, coming to Mooresville. And, he's been an artist, especially that has always kind of acknowledged his roots. I mean, helping raise money during Hurricane Helene. I mean, in addition to his music career, he's, his philanthropic efforts have been amazing. So I think everyone is definitely excited to see him.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And definitely a North Carolina boy. Very proud of his home state.
Yeah. And then Clyde Maddox, okay, Man of Steel, right?
Yeah.
Super grit cowboy band in the 70s. I think he's going to have a lot of fans there. That sound, I think people will definitely be excited for that.
Yeah, New York Times back in the early 70s called them the hottest honky tonkers in the South.
Wow. Okay. I like that.
All right.
Yeah. And the South is definitely known for some honky tonk.
Oh, yeah.
And then, of course, Dexter Romweber, who did pass last year. But the flat duo Jets, with drummer Chris Crow Smith, reviving that rockabilly. I mean, that raw electric, performances that they gave. I mean, he was saying that acts like the White Stripes, the Kills, the Black Keys were influenced by him. What a legacy that he's had to inspire, further, music.
Yeah, he's influenced a lot of people, and we were very surprised to hear that they actually started Dex Fest this past year in Carborough. So it's a festival centered around his style of music and remembering him.
Oh, wow.
That sounds like a good time.
We'll have to look into that.
Yeah.
I like that. And then Chatty Hattie, one that's near and dear to our heart at WSIC, radio DJ, one of the first Black radio DJs in really Southern radio, but especially here in the Charlotte area. Super excited for that. And I love that, you all honor not just, it's not just about the artist, but about kind of everyone that's helped further that music legacy.
Yeah, it's a lot of different positions in the music industry. So it's not just your singer-songwriters. It's also people who are music executives, DJs, engineers, educators. There's a lot of important people from North Carolina that have played roles that are not necessarily in the forefront.
Right. Absolutely. I think that comes through too. And you see that and are able to recognize them. And then, of course, Robert Deaton, raised in Fayetteville, North Carolina. I mean, television, film, music, producer, director. I mean, he's kind of done it all, right? Country music for decades.
Yeah. I think I was most shocked when we started doing lots of research on these inductees and learning more about them and building their exhibits here. He's worked with everybody in the country music industry. Kelly Pickler, Carrie Underwood, Reba, Brooks and Dunn, Big and Rich, Diamond Rio, Brad Paisley, you name it, he's worked with them.
Wow. Wow. That's amazing. And then last, but certainly not least, and someone we're going to get to talk to in a little bit, David Childers, who was born and raised in Mount Holly, North Carolina. Poetic folk singer, storyteller, multidisciplinary artist. I mean, he can play just about any string instrument there is. So we're super excited to talk to him today, and what a great addition into the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely. You'll really enjoy talking to him.
Yeah, I mean, we're definitely excited about that. And so what really, I mean, these obviously are a great group of artists to acknowledge. And what can people expect from the induction ceremony?
I think they'll expect a taste of North Carolina. It's very unique because you come into the room not quite sure what to expect, but it's a variety of genres. And so if you're coming there specifically for a country music artist or an R&B artist, you're going to be exposed to gospel music, folk, Americana, country. It's everything, and it's very cool. We see a lot of times people walk away as new fans.
I love that. Yeah, and I think they are. I think they're definitely going to be a fan of some of these inductees this year. If they weren't before, they will after the ceremony.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, we just have a couple seconds left, but if there is one final ticket drop, you can get tickets this Thursday, 10 a.m. Where can they get tickets, Veronica?
If you go to our website, you'll see an area where it says buy tickets now, and it'll take you directly to our ticketing site. Those are expected to go very, very fast, though, and that will open 10 o'clock Thursday, October the 2nd.
Okay. Well, Veronica, thank you so much for joining us. Have a good day.
Thank you, and enjoy your conversations coming up. I know you will.
All right. We'll be right back with Heart Mooresville, talking with Dolph, who's board member for North Carolina Music Hall of Fame.
Back after this, only on WSIC. Local starts here.
Can you hear us?
For me.
Okay, now we can. Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Unmuted.
Okay, and CJ, we're muted, right? right, welcome back to Heart Mooresville. We are talking with the crew from the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame. We have an induction ceremony coming up October 16th at the Mooresville Performing Arts Center. It is going to be an amazing show. Inductees include Clyde Maddox, David Childers, Dexter Romweber, Chatty Hattie Leeper, Luke Combs, and Robert Deaton. Amazing class of inductees this year. And right now we're talking with Dolph, and is it Ramseur?
It's Ramseur, yes. You're close enough.
I say it the country way, Dolph. Dolphus Ramseur, who is a board member on the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame. Good morning, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I guess tell our listeners a little bit about kind of take us through the highlights of your career and kind of how you became a board member for the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame.
Well, I manage bands and I have a small independent record label. The biggest band I manage is a band that's in the Hall of Fame. They're called the Avett Brothers. Then I manage
just a little band.
Just a little one.
I managed another act that was inducted. That was the Carolina Chocolate Drops, and then another one called the Steep Canyon Rangers.
Oh.
Then I maybe was inducted maybe in 2019 because of all of the management work I had done. But I guess, my main thing is I'm just a massive fan of music from this state. And, I realized I did not have to go to Nashville or New York or Los Angeles to make it in the music business because North Carolina is so strong musically, I could just stick here.
And you were actually inducted into the Music Hall of Fame yourself in 2018.
Yes. 2018. Okay. Yes, correct.
I'm reminding you, 2018,
Dolph.
Yeah. And so what does that mean to you personally, to serve on the board, being an inductee, working in the industry? I mean, what does that mean to you personally?
Well, it's a great honor. And, I personally think that North Carolina, we're the center of the universe when it comes to music, I believe. There's no other melting pot like us. Sadly, we've been a poor state, as most of the states in the South.
Right.
But that forces people to look inward to entertain themselves. And then we're in the Bible Belt, which then forces people, most of the people in the Hall of Fame in not only the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame, but the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and any music Hall of Fame. Most people started performing in church before they ever took a stage, in front of the general public. It's this Scottish, Irish mixed with African American melting pot that, it's our music is our greatest export. I tell people it's not tobacco or cotton or ACC basketball or even NASCAR. Music is really what when you go around this planet, most people know. We kind of maybe take it for granted.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I think we have a very unique, like you described it, a melting pot that influences that music. And we're able to, I think that's why you see that diverse range of inductees, because that diverse range of music, I mean, like you said, everything from hip hop to, bluegrass and country and Americana, folk. I mean, all of that, comes out of our state, I think more so than you might see in other parts of the country, because we are that melting pot. And the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame has such a big responsibility to preserve that. How do you see the board kind of working to preserve that heritage?
Well, it's the gift that keeps really giving to us. I mean, we kind of have to filter it all to 6 inductees each year, but there's so many that are deserving.
Right.
And over time, there'll be they will eventually find their way into the Hall of Fame. But each year I kind of wonder, how are we going to match what we did the previous year, or how are we going to top it? And it just magically always happens.
Right.
And it's just, again, we just are so strong musically, it just never seems to end. And, like growing up here in the Piedmont, you know, pretty much everybody I knew had a piano in the living room.
Right.
It's just one of those things. And then, you go to church and there's somebody, somebody that's playing piano and organ or singing in the choir or somebody that picks a banjo. It's hard to go out your front door, back door without bumping into somebody soon that does some music.
Yeah. I think I definitely think that strong, faith-based communities that we have in North Carolina where, people grow up singing in church, definitely influences that for sure.
I mean, look at American Idol and, so many of the early, and I'm sure even still, there's a lot of North Carolina that's been represented in American Idol.
Absolutely.
So.
And one of the things that I love that the museum and the Hall of Fame does is honor not just performers, but also producers and DJs and, industry leaders, which we see in this year's class too. Why do you think that's important to recognize those individuals as well?
Yep, for sure. I mean, I'm the first to tell you, I cannot find a C note on a piano. I don't know one guitar chord. But I've been able to recognize that this state is loaded with talent, and why not try to shine a light on it? So.
Right. Yeah, and I think, you don't have to play music to appreciate music and to do things that, and make efforts to further music and its heritage in our state.
Yeah, and I would say too, beyond just the music, it's the lyrics. It's the storytelling that goes on in the heart and emotion that these artists have. When you really listen to the words, the stories that they're sharing from their life is really impactful, and it's beautiful to hear it turned into music.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
Now I asked Veronica, but I want to ask you too, Dolph. What do you feel like people can expect at the induction ceremony?
Well, there's always a lot of love in the room.
Yeah.
And there's always usually a couple moments that are where, people kind of like I was telling you during the break that P.D. Pablo, a hip hop rap artist, last year was inducted from Greenville, North Carolina. And my favorite moment from last year happened when he got up to accept his award and he said all he wanted was Greenville, North Carolina, when he was growing up to like him. But now the whole state loves him. And he started crying and could hardly keep his composure. It was a sweet moment. So there's always, there's always moments like that where, you forget there's not white, black. It's all, it's just a lot of love in the room. It's sort of like a religious sort of, it's just a lot of beautiful moments when the music starts.
Music transcends, right?
Yes.
Well, we just have 1 minute left. But really quick, Dolph, what do you feel like the next 10 years? What does the future look like? What's the board's vision?
Well, again, we just want to keep, making this thing, really trying to educate people from this state that we're here. And that, it's one of those things where you don't realize what you've got until it's gone. And we want to keep this thing thriving to where it's never going to go away. So really just, we're just waving the flag.
All right.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Well,
but thanks for having me on today to help wave that flag.
Absolutely, Dolph. Thank you so much for joining us. All right. Well, it's October 16th. It's the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame induction ceremony. You can get final tickets that go on sale this Thursday at 10 a.m. NorthCarolinaMusicHallOfFame.org. All right. Or com. .org. All right, Dolph. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Okay. Thanks.
All right.
After this, only on WSIC. Local starts here.
Well, some extra clouds hanging around, but Imelda continues to work further and further away from our coast, and some drier air starts to work in. Temperatures stay cool for our Tuesday afternoon. Only in the low to mid 70s, getting drier overnight. Our sunshine will be back Wednesday. We should get back up to around 80 tomorrow, and looking at cool fall weather in the mid 70s to finish out the week. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here's your WSIC community calendar. The 500 Club in Statesville kicks the weekend off early on Thursday, October 2nd, with the Thirsty Thursdays tournament. Member Happy Hour is Friday, beginning at 5 p.m., and Sunday is the Oktoberfest. Call the 500 Club, 704-872-9990, for more information on entertainment, golf lessons, memberships, and tee times. The Piedmont Healthcare Friday After 5 Outdoor Concert Series is in downtown Statesville. The Party Parrot Band, a tribute to Jimmy Buffett, performs at 6 p.m. This free show will be held on West Broad Street in front of Mitchell Community College. Food and beverages will be available for purchase after 5. Bring your chairs and enjoy a night of free music at Friday After 5 in downtown Statesville. Mooresville's Festival of Food Trucks returns on Saturday. Over 15 food trucks will be on hand with live music by Dial-Up Radio. Bring a chair and your friends along Main and Broad Streets for the Festival of Food Trucks on Saturday beginning at 5 p.m. in downtown Mooresville. NASCAR's National Series return to Charlotte Motor Speedway this weekend. The Craftsman Truck Series race will be Friday. The Xfinity Series holds the Blue Cross NC 250 on Saturday, while the Cup Series races the Bank of America Roval 400 on Sunday. Click on charlottemotorspeedway.com for tickets and information.
The Renaissance Festival is back! Saturdays and Sundays, October 4th through November 23rd. Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com. While supplies last, don't miss the Renaissance Festival! Huzzah!
Stay up to date and find out about local events, job opportunities, real estate information, and more. Visit liveworkplaylkn.com and sign up for the weekly newsletter. That's liveworkplaylkn.com.
Looking for an upscale night out? Welcome to Ben 110 in Cornelius, Lake Norman's destination for great drinks, great vibes, and live music. With over 500 whiskeys, 100 wines, a full craft cocktail list, and small plates kitchen, we built something special. Enjoy live music every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, monthly comedy nights, and curated wine and whiskey tastings. Ben 110, where your night becomes the main event. Find us at 19712 1 Norman Boulevard, Suite 110 in Cornelius.
You're listening to iHeart Mooresville, connecting the people, the places, and the events that make our town special. Only on WSIC. Local starts here.
And welcome back to iHeart Mooresville here on WSIC News. We're having a blast talking to all the people, the crew from the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame, the induction ceremony that's coming up October 16th. We've talked to Veronica Cordle, the executive director. We've talked to Dolph, who's on the board of directors. And now we're getting ready to talk to David Childers, 2025 inductee. Good morning, Mr. Childers.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, but good morning.
Well, we're excited to see you on the 16th, and you're going to be performing for us, aren't you?
That's my understanding. I'm going to have my band, the Serpents, and one or two guests with me as well.
Nice. So I want to talk a little bit about your career. I mean, first of all, congratulations on your success of your career and being inducted this year into the Hall of Fame. But you actually began your career with a law degree and then kind of, got into music and pursuing the arts full time. What did that look like? Kind of take people through how you kind of became to be in the music industry.
Well, I don't consider myself, even to this date, being a part of the music industry. That's something that's never really accepted me. But I have been lucky to be on a small label. It's actually a pretty big label, Ramseur, and that I've been on a bunch of different labels. But I was doing this before I was a lawyer. I actually was involved in like these arts council back then had funding, and it was considered to be something important. And I was able to do some residencies like in Wilmington, Shelby. I did poetry in schools in Charlotte. So I was doing music way before law. My son was born in 1977. He's my drummer now and like my vocalist and producer with me. But at that point, I was doing these art council gigs. I wasn't making that much money. And I also didn't feel like being an official government-sponsored poet. Not that I got anything at all against the government, but I just kind of wanted to do it without that. And I decided I want to go get my hands dirty. My dad was a lawyer. He was always bugging me about going to law school, and I finally gave in. I resisted it for years, but I just figured I got a son here, and I got a wife, and I need to support him. So
right. So really, music was your first love, and the lawyer gig's just what you did to make money, right?
Well, pretty much. But I came to enjoy it. You know, my wife and I ended up having a very good time doing it for probably the last 15 or 16 years. But I started the music about 1990. I was doing a lot of writing. I started as a poet, and I picked up guitar, and it's kind of, I know you don't have that much time, but in college I studied writing poetry. I won an award, American Academy of Poets, and then next thing I know I was doing poetry in schools, and playing the guitar was part of that. But
oh wow,
when it's probably about, I got my law thing going in 1981. About 1990, it's like, you're wasting your talent, and
right.
I could practice law and do that at the same time. That's what I always figured from the start.
Right.
But the law, I went to Campbell Law. It's a very demanding school. I always call it like intellectual boot camp is what I was going through. It's like my brain got stretched out.
Yeah. Well, and Mr. Sills, I want to ask you about your lyrics, because, some of your lyrics are often described as poetic and deeply human. Where do you draw that inspiration from, and how do you approach that storytelling?
Well, I just do it. It's like the words just kind of pop up in my head. I'll be in a situation, or there's just a number of things that can cause it. A lot of times it's just made up. Sometimes it's from my life, but I worked at it a lot when I was younger, just trying to figure out how to do it. And in the last few years, I've just kind of let it happen. And,
okay. And do you feel like
I keep? Huh? Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say, do you feel like being from North Carolina, a state that is rich, with music tradition? Do you feel like that's kind of shaped your songwriting style, being from North Carolina?
No, not really. Just being a human being shapes it. Just being. I dealt with people a lot and people's problems, and gave me a lot of empathy for other people. And that empathy is where a lot of it comes from. And like the song "Greasy Dollar," my very first job was as a ditch digger and a grass cutter for the city of Mount Holly. I was born but 14 years old, and I worked with these older guys and who were making the same amount of money as I was and trying to raise families on it and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I always wanted to write something about them, and I tried to write a short story. That didn't work. Finally, 40 years later, this song pops into my head one day, and I honestly look at it like there's a source outside of me. Angels. I mean, I kind of look at them as being angels. And also God, which is very important in my life. So when I write a song like that, I always give thanks. And a lot of times I'll just break down in tears because I'm so grateful for the gift that's been given to me.
Oh, wow.
But I can't analyze it. I mean, it just happens. That's all I can say.
And Mr. Childers, the last question I want to ask you is, what does it mean to you to be inducted into the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame?
Well, honestly, at first, Dolphus Ramseur called me. I'm going through, I'm in a battle with cancer right now, and I was
I'm so sorry.
actually in chemotherapy, which is not that bad thing. I've gotten used to it. I've been doing it over a year now. Dolph called me, and I was very surprised. I didn't understand really why I was being inducted, but I'm very grateful. And, it's just grown on me what an honor this is. And, I just didn't think anybody really noticed what I was doing. And, apparently people did. So
I think you've had an impact.
It's been a great affirmation. Go ahead.
I said, I think you have had an impact, Mr. Childers. I think people, you've got fans out there and people appreciate what you do, and you've got a legacy there. So we're excited to hear you. And thank you again so much for calling in and talking to us today. You have a great rest of your day, okay?
You too. Thank you, ma'am.
All right.
Take care.
All right. That was David Childers, 2025 inductee of the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame. He's one of many that will be inducted in this class. Clyde Maddox, Dexter Romweber, Hattie Leeper, known as Chatty Hattie, Luke Combs, Robert Deaton, all part of that 2025 class of inductees on October 16th, Mooresville Performing Arts Center. The event is sold out right now. However, there is one final chance to get tickets. It's going to be this Thursday at 10 a.m. You can go to northcarolinamusichollofame.org and get those final tickets for the event. We hope you'll join us. It is an amazing event that honors the North Carolina music legacy and just amazing talent that we have that comes out of the state. The event is from 6 to 10 p.m. So join us if you can. All right. Last couple minutes here, we just want to take some time to talk about upcoming events that we have in the area. All right, what's going on, guys?
Well, besides the Mooresville Motorsports celebration today, which is, a couple hours downtown from 4 to 7. We will be inducting Ryan Newman and Greg Biffle into the Walk of Fame this year. We'll have food trucks. We'll have car show, hopefully, because the weather is going to be fine later.
It is.
Yes.
Everybody come. It's going to be fun.
Sean, you talked to Brad Panovich himself.
Yeah, I reached out to Brad and just said, what's the good word with the weather? Are we going to be able to keep this thing outside? And he said, we're good to go.
Okay.
Clouds moving out. It should be a nice afternoon, nice and cool. And we'll have a great event.
Okay. And it'll be nice. You don't have to worry about the heat.
Nope.
No sweat.
It's nice outside right now.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Don't sweat it.
Good
Just
fall
come.
day.
Yeah.
And then this Friday, we have Symphony Under the Stars with the Lake Norman Orchestra at Liberty Park starting at 7 o'clock.
I love Symphony Under the Stars.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. And it feels like it's ending like our kind of outdoor season, right?
Yeah.
It's the last event that really is outdoor of the season. We have amazing Rock the Park concert series that, you can see a Fleetwood Mac tribute, 80s band, 70s, Jimmy Buffett tributes, in the park at the first Friday of each month. And then we kind of end with that classical orchestra option. And that is October 3rd, Friday. Event starts at
7 p.m.
7 p.m. in the park. You can lay a blanket down. You can get a charcuterie board. Just come and join us. And then of course, October 16th, you can get those final tickets for the North Carolina Music Hall of Fame this Thursday at 10 a.m. Well, thank you all for listening. I hope everyone has a great week. If you want to view the full lineup of events, you can go to mooresvilleevents.com and see all the events happening in the area. All right. We'll see you next week on WSIC.